All footage in this video is from players around the community. Their links will be in the description of this video, as well as the music too. I want to thank Raid Chevy for all the little details he had in some of these missions that really helped put the picture into perspective for me, so thank you and please check them out. Secrets in video games is nothing new. Games get secrets placed in them all the time, from a simple menu cheat code to a developer message and even a tribute room to the communities. But what we rarely see is an online game have a secret that would shake the gaming community across the world. We are here to talk about Destiny's Black Spindle and Whisper of the Worm missions. These secrets were not only completely hidden for players to find one day, but they single-handedly changed the way that players experience Destiny now. There wouldn't be as much invested into Reddit's raid secrets if it weren't for these weapons existing. So in today's video, we'll go over these missions, the impact, day one, communities involved, etc, etc. So strap yourself in, because this is going to be one heck of a ride. Before we take you to the first of the secret missions, it's important to know why this weapon/mission had the impact it had. Back in Destiny's DLC, The Dark Below, many Guardians played the Raid Crotas End. After defeating the now infamous strike boss, players had the chance for a weapon, Black Hammer, to drop. This weapon was a solar secondary sniper that did pretty good damage, but it had a perk that would go down in legend as one of the best of all time. The weapon's perk was called White Nail. The perk states that 3 consecutive critical hits, the ammo could be refunded. So if I hit 3 headshots in a row, I regenerate ammo for nothing. Pretty cool, right? The idea was that this was a sniper rifle, so hitting 3 headshots in a row wasn't the easiest thing to do, especially while using a controller the whole time. So why did this become a part of everybody's inventory instantly?
For boss battles, I'd say yes, it most certainly is. In PvP, this weapon's high impact and super stable scope make it a contender, but you need to make your shots count as there are only 3 rounds in the mag. In conclusion, Black Hammer is an effing beast. You definitely want this in your arsenal, so get a raid team together, kick Crota's ass, and pray that RNGesus delivers the goods.
Aside from the obvious perk being amazing, Destiny's snipers were very strong at that point, and this was not an exotic, which meant you could run an exotic weapon with this weapon still in your inventory. Also, this weapon had tons of ammo at its disposal, so let's be real, even if you're missing shots, you get more chances to regen that ammo, and the other perk on it was Mulligan, which meant that if you miss a shot, you can get that shot back in the magazine like nothing even happened. This was in everyone, and I mean everyone's year 1 Destiny inventory inside of any PvE activity. So Bungie rightfully capped its ability to go any further in leveling, so it was deemed useless in the Taken King, never to see the light of day again. The day is Wednesday, September 23rd, 2015. This is the day that would go down in infamy as the biggest secret to hit an online game in a long time discovered. After the Taken King's release, Reddit user Takius Taco made a post saying that he received the exotic weapon Black Spindle. He says, make your way to the 3rd door with the 3 relics. You do not need to place any relics in the 3rd area. Go to where you would board the fallen catch. You can die, but you cannot wipe leading to this part. The mission must be done as the daily heroic. So put yourself into players that day. You are going to the daily heroic mission on your normal routine, doing the mission in the Chamber of Light on the moon like normal, except one thing has changed in the dialogue. Your ghost says this.
Strange. I'm picking up a fallen distress beacon.
So you go away from the normal path and into the catch of the ship on the moon. This giant fallen ship that was just a part of a strike normally, but the path was open. All of a sudden you hear that sound. You run forward to chase it, and you are thrust into a Taken invasion of the Fallen on the moon. The NPC Varix tells you to shut it down before it is too late. You have exactly 10 minutes to clear all the rooms and kill the boss of the area. This mission shook the whole entire community. Not only the Destiny community, but I'd argue anyone who was playing a video game at that time knew something crazy had just happened in Destiny. A secret mission in an online game is something that was, to me, groundbreaking. So back to the mission, 10 minutes total, going through all these rooms and finally to the boss, a taken captain named Drivix. This was not an easy mission, and trust me when I say this was going to take you a few attempts at it, but the reward was well worth the pain to get it. Once you defeated Drivix, you were not done. You needed to kill all of the enemies in every room, and that included the boss room. What stood in your way, other than those annoying blights in the room that slowed you down and hurt you, and the boss, was the incredible amount of enemies that had shields on them. So players approach this in one of two ways. Either clear the room first, then kill the boss, or kill the boss first, then clear the room. By the way, which one were you? Once the room was finally beaten, all clear, that sound popped.
Taken will not rest.
And the first ever exotic sniper rifle of this power dropped. The Black Spindle. This is what you think it is, the Black Hammer, except this time it's a lot stronger of a weapon too. Instead of this refunding ammo from nothing, the Spindle pulled ammo from reserves, but it had a lot of ammo still, a fair trade-off for anyone who wanted the weapon back. This weapon would be the home of many players and was a monster against some fights in the game.
Now it's doing it, yay.
Oh man, I'm stuck. Is that a cooldown? Okay, then.
Bam. Clear those ads.
17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12.
Yeah.
Yes! Fuck yeah!
One bubble strat. I love it, dude.
Fucking incredible.
There was another reason to run this mission too though, a cool looking ship that was extremely rare called the Vienna Singer. The Black Spindle though would go down in legend and would add to the legacy of the Taken Kings expansion. This would also give raid secrets and Destiny's community as a whole more reason to look for secrets in the game, because if this was hidden, what else could be out there? We'll save some of those secrets for another video. Destiny 2 has been out for a while now, so I am taking you back to the expansion Warmind in year 1 of Destiny 2. Keep in mind, year 1 of Destiny 2 had some questionable decisions at the helm of the game. The metas were stale to a lot of players, the double primary system was getting old, and we just needed something new to shake up the game. The weapon that lots of players were getting down with was the returning Sleeper Simulant with Warmind's release, but still, even with a new raid and some new weapons, returning ones, players were getting bored.
Flares are just, they're terrible ideas. It's just bad, don't do it. What the fuck?
Ah, sleeper calibration.
One day, Friday, July 20th, at 10 a.m. Pacific, Reddit user BlurryFerret1 makes a post about an IO lost sector that he somehow was pushed into. This sounds familiar, right? Ferret says, "This is probably stupid and has already been talked about, but on IO I was doing public events and there was a taken portal that gave me the option to enter the anomaly. I entered it and there was a bunch of explosive faction things but no enemies. I blew them up, got to the chest, but I can't open it because I don't have the key. It's a 20-minute timer. I'm just curious what it is because I've never had this before." So Ferret discovered something on the planet Io. What happened was Ferret, or someone in Ferret's game, killed either a Taken Captain or a Taken Centurion away from the Taken Blight public event. You know, the RNG heroic one. Once they killed that enemy, a portal then spawned and let players enter an anomaly. This anomaly would be the home of players for weeks on end. So, Barrett said there was nothing, but a 20-minute timer and the text on the left side, the whisper. You actually had to jump into a hidden crevice, destroy a blight, then fall down into the pits of Io, hidden away, crushed down into the depths. This was already having the same vibes as the Spindle mission, except this time it was cranked to the max. Instead of having you clear the waves of enemies, you were able to jump across massive gaps and do some crazy platforming, the likes of which we hadn't seen before. The scope of this area was nothing but incredible, and players would quickly try to conquer this task of platforming and puzzle solving. Each room was harder than the last to find the correct route to go, and once you were done with one room, it was probably a reset to find the next path and the next one, and so on and so forth. Of course, this meant waiting for the public event to come back every single time. Each time progressing from ledge drops to the crouch and go section to the elevator up, the tunnel of smash, the trolley taken boobs, the crushing door to the toilet bowl spinny spin room of guessing to the gigantic green room. This was tough, but extremely well made and lots of fun. You may be wondering, Evan, why was this 20 minutes long if it's just parkour? Well, that was not even close to all it had to offer. When you made it past the green room after going around the whole jumping section, there was more to do. You fell down into a crevice and were on a ledge with one of two paths. The one to the right, which we'll get into in a bit, or the one to the left, which we will talk about now. The one to the left was the path to the bottom, with that ominous voice of Zol from the expansion Warmind guiding you in that direction. You were to take the leap of faith into a tiny door, through a few more obstacles, and on to the challenge of old. You were to clear the rooms just like in the Black Spindle mission now. Nothing was harder in the game to this point. This was not only brutally difficult, but factor in that there was two primary weapon meta, and this made for a roller coaster of high stakes and emotions. The first room had you fighting Taken Fallen / Hive enemies, from Vandals wrecking you to Captains throwing those Halo death balls at you and Acolytes eyeballing you too. The second room was all about the Taken Hive enemies, from Wizards beaming you down miles away and unleashing an army of Thrall to Knights standing the floor with fire. These rooms were tough. Factor in the Taken Boopers that were everywhere too, and you had a true death room with no safe corner to run to. After you were done with those rooms, you had to kill 3 hobgoblins sniping at you and the trolley phalanxes behind you. Then avoid / kill the Taken Scions, jump down into the final room. Quick recap here. All of this was hidden. Nobody, and I mean nobody, knew about this. No marketing, no data mines, nothing. This was truly a special moment for Destiny 2 and all of gaming for that matter. So, the final room in the Black Spindle had you fighting one boss, right? Well, this one actually featured 3 Taken bosses. One was a Hive Knight, one was a Fallen Captain, and one was a Cabal Centurion. These bosses were mighty difficult to take down, especially at the time, but when you did, the reward was...
Yes! Wait, hang on, we got it! We fucking got it! Are we world first? Holy shit.
I don't know, I just watched it, that's nice. I think you might be.
Holy shit, I think we're world first.
Flip it, dude.
Oh my god, can someone clip it for me, please? Someone who's in the stream right now, please clip it, because I don't have the... I think we got world first.
A Taken weapon. The Whisper of the Worm.
This thing looks nuts. Dude, that sound is amazing.
Yeah.
This weapon was the same as Black Spindle that was before it, except 2 major key points here was that other than being slightly better on stats, this weapon had the white nail perk from Black Hammer again, not from Black Spindle. and it was in the heavy slot unlike Spindle, so it was a combination of Black Hammer and Black Spindle, a weapon with mighty power but still had a skill gap to master it. So that's it, everyone. That's the story of the what's that? Oh, there's more? After you were done with the Whisper mission, yes, there was more. This time, a heroic variant of that mission. Yes, this would make the mission the hardest one in the game at that time, and to be honest, still a pretty tough mission. The Whisper heroic variant had you do everything the same, and players even found ways to get faster at the Whisper mission itself, since you were going to need it on this difficulty.
Oh no.
There's 2 holes. Which one am I? This is not the right hole.
Yeah, it is.
It's the top right one.
No. I'm like in the grass already.
Oh. It's just right at the entrance. There'll be like a light stick.
Yeah, I already made it. You literally turn around right where you walk in and crouch underneath the hole. I'm already there.
Yeah, that's a big shortcut.
Yeah. Once you beat the mission again, a catalyst dropped for you? What is that? Catalysts in Destiny 2 are mod enhancements for exotic weapons. These change the way that the weapon can be used and are also used to improve the weapon even further. This one would add Whispered Breathing, a juicy 40% buff, which would later be even higher, as Error explains here.
It does not take the perk away, so it's the old box breathing. But what else has changed about it? So, starting with the body shot damage, it hit 1495. Now, a regular headshot without the perk hits 5224. Now, with the perk procced Whispered Breathing, I now hit 8439. So putting those numbers up on the screen, the headshot hits 3.5 times the body, and the perk hits 5.65 times the body shot, which is a 2.15x increase over the regular headshot. And also in percent form, the perk does 61.5% more damage than a regular headshot.
This was awesome, but you had to unlock the catalyst first, and only a single completion of heroic would slowly increase the gain of it. That was until the secrets of the Whisper were discovered. This mission is full of nice throwbacks and unique secrets. The Destiny community was quick to find hidden chests in the mission, 5 of them to be exact, hidden all over the jumping sections of this mission. With these chests found, there was only one left. Remember earlier in the video when I said there was another path to the right? Well, yeah, other than the chest that was hidden to the back, there was a lonesome portal sitting there too. This is a direct callback to the raid Vault of Glass, the first ever raid in Destiny. One in which there was a lonesome portal sitting in the distance in between the section after Gorgons, but right before the Gatekeeper. The chests were also a callback too, since there had been rumors of a hidden 6th chest in that raid. But were we going to be teased again with another fabled 6th chest? Nope, not this time. So after the community discovered all 5 chests, players were quick to note that the portal lit up. Almost a gateway to the Vaults of Glass? Were we going back to that raid? No. But we were going to get that last chest, that's for sure. Standing at the portal spawned something longtime Destiny fans would be aware of. That sound effect. Oracles bright and yellow were here. I will let an expert explain how/why this was the way it was.
Each chest contains a blighted essence, which is needed to complete your catalyst. Now, we have the Oracle puzzle. When you do it right, the chest should spawn right in front of you. Well, when the oracles spawn, just like in VOG, they all make a sound. They all have their own note. So all 7 in, ping with all of their notes. Then, for the first wave, there are 3 additional pings that are made. These first 3 notes are the notes that the first wave of the first 3 oracles in the original VOG made. So you respond by shooting the second wave of oracles that spawned in VOG according to the notes that they made when they did their first spawn in the raid. Here's a play-by-play. Listen closely.
To sum up what Dado is saying, you need to shoot them in a sequence. T-Rex and a subscriber of his named Nerdorado discovered the correct sequence, and when you did, you were given schematics.
What is that? It's a ship!
Schematics to the best looking ship in the game. The chests and this one also gave you the essence to keep upgrading your Whisper, and to complete the schematics for the ship, players had to beat the heroic version every week for 3 weeks. There was also a tiny secret towards the end too, which had players very invested and trolled just like in Vault of Glass. This was a small room that could have a chest in it, but actually just had a dead Vex body. Just an Easter egg in my opinion.
Dead Vex in it. I wonder the significance of this, if there is any, or if it's just when they built the map, they laid out some potential spots where the designers could hide chests. But it seems like it's something. And I don't know if anyone was able to, or anyone did come back here during the heroic mission, but
the impact of this weapon was tremendous and actually got many, including myself, back into the game.
Got first rift. Sorry, the only rift. Alright, 3, 2, 1, melee. Oh, yeah, he's falling.
Oh my god, 184k shot, dude!
Without box breathing, it's just...
Okay. 184k, dude.
Was there a boss?
With so much to do now and the secret mission, the likes of which we haven't seen since Spindle, this meant that not only was Destiny back to what made it special for some, but it pulled off a secret mission again, under players' noses. This was incredible for gaming as a whole. So the Whisper was fantastic, the Catalyst great, and it was used by many players, right? Well, this weapon unfortunately was nerfed very hard into the ground. The first nerf saw the weapon's ammo go from in the 20s to 9 total. This was fine for many players since the perk was still great, but then Bungie gave Whisper a hefty change. The weapon's white nail perk would now work exactly like Black Spindle. This one split the community because on one side, players felt robbed of the weapon they came to love, appreciate, and felt had a skill gap that was now neutered. While on the other side, players were happy that a weapon that made you sit back and take down enemies without engaging all the time and just straight up made some mechanics somewhat watered down was gone. One side rep merchandise of this change, while some really honed in on what Bungie was aiming at with the change.
I understand much better why we can't keep Whisper of the Worm. It's a fundamentally unfun weapon design. Whisper of the Worm preys on enemies that can't fight back. That is its gimmick. Nobody uses it when bosses jitter around like they do in Gambit, and nobody uses it when enemies have small crit spots like Thrall. Nobody uses it for anything except enemies that don't move much and have a big crit spot, and even then, they only use it because it's a safe, non-engaging strategy. It is the epitome of low risk, high reward.
I want to pose the question to you, where do you stand with the change? This doesn't change the pure and raw scope of what these missions did for gaming though. Both the Spindle and the Whisper are marks of truly great moments, and I am so happy to be a part of them and hopefully do some justice in sharing their stories. This is not the only secret mission in Destiny 2, and trust me, there will be a video covering that one as well. But for now, enjoy your Whisper of the Nerf. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed, a like would be greatly appreciated, as well as a subscription. The link to my Twitch will be at the top. Thank you guys so much for 20,000 subscribers, and we're on to brighter avenues. Thank you guys, and until next time, peace.